Joe Biden got run out of office after the majority of the Democrat primaries across the country. Joe Biden, the clear primary winner. Now, you can argue he shouldn't have been, or I can argue he shouldn't have been all day long. Joe Biden was the clear primary winner, the man who was about to accept the formal nomination as president of the United States of America. Powerful people within our government and outside of our government decided they didn't like that anymore, and they just decided, well, remove him. And they did. We now know, courtesy of New York Post reporting, that the plan was to dump Joe all along. Now, granted, if you've watched this show for any length of time, you know that because I've been telling you that. What? The plan was to dump him all along? And now they're trying to say the health cover-up began as early as 2021. Okay, now let's clarify something about the health cover-up. The health cover-up didn't begin in 2021 because I was here talking about it and you were here talking about it when Joe Biden ran against Donald Trump the first time. It was obvious something was wrong. Granted, he's worse now because you don't get better when you're in that medical condition. He's much worse now, but we all knew it was wrong. How many times did we sit here and talk about this? Remember when he got busted? He did the sit-down interview and he got busted. They didn't account for the reflection. He got busted using note cards. Someone was behind the camera holding up flashcards for the guy. Joe Biden, the cover-up began from the second they rolled Joe Biden out there to run for president of the United States of America. All these people were lying about it at all times, and they all did so. Why? Well, for the exact same reason they just kicked him out the door. They did so because of power. Now, I've said something before, I'm going to say it again. Joe Biden, after that debate, Joe Biden went through what I have called the asking phase. You heard me say it here, that he's in the asking phase right now, where they were slowly leaking to the media. Pelosi meets with him. Well, Joe, maybe it's for the best. Obama meets with him privately. Joe, don't you think it's for the best? That was the asking phase. What I said to Joe Biden, not personally, obviously, but what I said was the telling phase was about to get here, and we now know, courtesy of leaked comments from Nancy Pelosi, that the telling phase was here. How bad would that telling phase have been? Well, I want you to think about this. Just put this in your mind. Robert Hur. You know who Robert Hur is. He's the special counsel who was investigating Joe Biden and the fact that Joe Biden illegally took a bunch of classified documents that weren't his. Robert Hur sat down with Joe Biden for a deposition. Now pause for a moment. Think about this. What do we know about Joe Biden's public persona over the last couple of years? Well, here's what we know now. We know that everything is structured. He is in such bad shape mentally that even when he meets privately with his cabinet, they have to submit their questions and talking points ahead of time, and they're given a time when he will call on them privately. Joe Biden is given specific instructions when he gives a speech on where exactly he walks out to the stage. And then when he's done, where is he supposed to turn and walk off the stage? He has been coddled like a child because he now has the mind of a child. What I'm trying to tell you is the Joe Biden we have seen publicly, wrap your mind around this, that's the best Joe Biden looks and sounds. You realize that? That's the Joe Biden with the script. Everything's laid out. Okay, do this, this, and this. Read this off the teleprompter. Call on this person. That's the Joe Biden hopped up on whatever drug cocktail they have him on. That's the Joe Biden where they've allotted time for him to have maximum rest. The Joe Biden you have seen, the Joe Biden I have seen over the last few years is the best Joe Biden is in any given day. So back to Robert Hur. Joe Biden had to sit down and he had to give a deposition to Robert Hur on tape. They recorded this. This was behind closed doors. This wasn't for you. It wasn't for the cameras. And Joe Biden knew that his attorney general, Merrick Garland, because he's a piece of crap, would cover that up. How bad are those tapes? We now know the federal government is coming out now. They're saying they, quote, found the missing transcripts of the tapes. If Joe Biden didn't make this decision, I'm telling you right now, you were going to listen to those tapes on the nightly news and they were going to be ugly. And now you know what I'm talking about when I talk about the system. You just watched it in action, told you about it a million times. You know what it is. The system is bigger than any one man. The system is vicious, violent, deadly when it has to be. The system is essentially this. All of our institutions are now commanded by the same poisonous communist ideology, and they all now work together against you and against your country at all times. The system is much more powerful than presidents, FBI directors, billionaires, you name it. The system is this gigantic evil thing that governs over us now, and the system simply decided, primary, no primary, we're done with Joe Biden. He's a liability. Get rid of him. And the system obviously decided right now that Dome was going to be the nominee. It's obvious. There was, as soon as Joe Biden announced that he was dropping out, everyone was trying to play chess with the whole thing. Who's it going to be? Could it be this senator or this? And it was very obvious. I came out here right away and I told you it was going to be Dome. It was obvious because you saw the system line up behind her. All the board of directors of the system, from the billionaires to the Nancy Pelosi's of the world. Dome's practically just accepting the nomination now.
So, Wisconsin, I am told as of this morning that we have earned the support of enough delegates to secure the Democratic nomination.
Wow. Really got out there and earned it, didn't you, Dome? Look, Nancy Pelosi ran out the president of the United States of America and installed Dome. Chuck Schumer ran out the president of the United States of America and installed Dome. I mean, here was Schumer yesterday.
So now that the process is played out, from the grassroots bottom up, we are here today to throw our support behind Vice President Kamala Harris. I'm clapping. You don't have to.
And here's the real truth of it, and this is the sad truth. You know about the system, you know what it does, you know how evil it is. The sad truth is the Democrat in your life, the liberal Aunt Peggy in your life, whether it's your mom, your coworker, your brother, whoever it may be, they're going to be wearing a Kamala Harris t-shirt. They're going to put up a Kamala Harris yard sign. They're going to act excited to vote for Kamala Harris. They just had the man who was about to be the nominee removed from power by the system. Dome was then installed into power by the system, and the liberal Aunt Peggy in your life is going to pretend to be happy about it. Why? Because Democrats are herd animals. They are truly, truly a sad, sad lot. And this is from me. You know I'm more than willing to insult Republicans, both elected officials and voters, at every front. The truth is, Democrats move, I call them a herd, but Democrats move as a mob because they are communist revolutionaries. They have always understood the real strength they have is in their numbers. And so they will move even in directions they don't want to move. Like lemmings, they'll go running right off the end of the cliff because they understand their real true power is in the mob. So they will line up behind Dome now. They will pretend to be excited by Dome now. And we're going to have to endure that woman for, well, hopefully just about 3 months. And you're going to hear all the normal things you remember you heard when Barack Obama was running. Even though Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, by Joe Biden's own admission, you're going to be called a racist endlessly if you point that out. The question is, are you strong enough to stand up to this kind of criticism?
This is an organization, this is a right-wing campaign that's going to be racist, misogynistic against the vice president, but we're going to stand on the issues and what really matters. It's the fact that she is qualified. They want to call her a DEI president or DEI candidate. She has more experience than Trump and J.D. Vance combined times a million, right? She worked at the state level. She was the attorney general. She's vice president of the United States. She was a senator representing one of the largest states in the entire country. And so these are just racist dog whistles. Whenever you hear DEI, I want you to think about the N-word. I want you to think about racial slurs. That's what they actually mean.
Here's what I want you to think about. That human being there, hate him all you want, what he's doing has a purpose. That purpose is to let the nice people, to get the nice people to be quiet. Are you one of those nice people, a people pleaser? People are born this way. Either you are or you're not. But that's the point of a lot of this communist propaganda. It's racist. It's saying the N-word. They're trying to get the nice people to say, well, I guess I shouldn't say that. I don't want to be called a racist. It's why single women are so susceptible to communism. Don't fall for that at all.